Hi there, it's David John, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to talk a little bit about today is your driving and understand how we can make it with this very simple technique much longer, straighter drives. That's what we're looking for when we're getting out onto the golf course. Always for me, the first shot on each hole sort of sets the tone to how you're going to play, and the drive is key. And you can take this idea into, if you're not driving with an actual driver, you're using a 3-wood, 5-wood hybrid, the same principle applies. Okay, and that's really important. Now, for me, the mind is so important. And how does the mind become so important when you're working on your technique? Well, you have to have a visual picture of what you're doing. And I think that works in two ways. We talk a lot about the visual picture of the flight of the ball, but what you need to do is visualize what you're actually doing with your golf swing. And I think that's so important. If you're not visualizing that, it makes it very difficult to know what you're looking to do. So the little technique we're going to use today, we're going to call it right-angled golf. Okay, and it's the one thing when I stand on a tee box, if I think of just achieving one thing, I generally hit the ball straight. And what that is, relative to where I'm going, so where the target is down the hole, if I can get the shaft of the golf club back to right angles to where I want to hit it, I invariably hit a straight ball. All I've got to make sure then is the club face is in the right position at the beginning. Okay, so all I imagine, and I've set this up, we're going to take a video in a second from what we call down the line, and we'll focus on the aiming part and make sure the body's in the right position, but also will help us to understand other right angle positions that are so important in the swing. But everything I want to achieve is I've laid two clubs down here. This is the target line that I'm going along, and I've just made a right angle here. And what I'm imagining when I set up to that ball is the shaft of my golf club needs to be at right angles to where I want to hit the ball. And ultimately, when I make contact with the ball and come back, I want to achieve the same result. If I do that, and I've got the club face square to where I want to go, my balls will end up down the fairway. So it's a very, very simple thought. And we're just going to go through 3 or 4 pieces today that if you get them right, will allow you to find this position and you will start getting more consistency in your shots. So that's the mental picture we're looking for. Okay, that's the starting point. If you haven't got a mental picture of what you're looking to do, it's near enough impossible to do it. So always the biggest thing when I'm giving a lesson, the most important thing I say to golfers, does it make sense? If it makes sense, go and give those ideas a go. If it doesn't, stop me, tell me it doesn't make sense so we can get it right in your mind. And if you have golf lessons with other pros, please make sure that what you're doing is at the end of that lesson you've got something really positive, really good understanding for what you're doing, so you can go ahead and do it. And that's the important thing. If it doesn't make sense, your game will probably get worse because you'll get caught in two ideas. So what are we talking about with this right angle golf? So everything we're working on is to get the shaft of the golf club back to that position. And what I see a lot of the time is because people change the position of the club face as they set up to the ball, the face now starts to look wrong. So if they close the face down, they tend to then sort of have the handle sometimes behind or handle ahead. And straight away, the golf club isn't designed to work that way. Okay, when you watch a top player on TV, he'll have the golf club sitting in that position. He's not got his hands over here. He's not got his hands way behind the ball. Hopefully what you can see on the camera there is I do that position. If I go right angles to that, my golf ball's going to go way left. Okay, if I now do that, the shaft angle, and my club face is now square to that, it's going to go right. So it's one of the things I would say to you, whatever your club is, and as I said, I'm going to have a go with a hybrid later to show you this, I'm just letting my driver sit there. All I'm looking to do is get the shaft of the club at address in that position. And what I feel with the driver, because I want to hit fractionally on the up, is the ball position you can see from this club is just favouring my front foot. It's going that way, and that feels with the driver, I can just feel as if my left arm, the club, are very much in a line. Okay? But the key thing I'm looking for is the handle in line with the club face. So I know that's at right angles to where I want to go. And that's everything that I try to do when I stand on the tee. Now we're going to show you the other pieces in the setup that are so important to make that happen. But we're going to look at that more from a down the line angle so you understand that works. And also start to look at how the swing starts to develop from there as we look at it from that angle. So here's our second part, and we're just going to focus totally on the club face. Nothing else matters at this point. We're going to move the camera slightly as we go through this video to show you different positions, okay? So priority for me is the club face pointing where I want to go, number one. Number two, is that shaft at right angles to where I want to go. So we're just taking the camera here straight down that line. And the great thing is you guys go and buy good golf clubs. Okay, I very rarely go out with anybody on the golf course and think, what on earth have you bought there? You go out and you're happy to spend money on your golf clubs. And when you buy a good driver, if you just let it sit flat on its bottom and you get this idea of the right angle with the shaft, your golf club now will be aiming perfectly. As simple as that. That's all I'm going to say on that side. I'm not going to say any more than that. But what you don't want to do, this is the biggest error. Golfers start to think, well, that looks open, the club face. It's not. Okay, simple thing to sometimes do is just, if you look at your club, and I'm just going to use a T-peg here to show you this, is if you put it, what feels square in your hands, and just put a T-peg on the face of the club, that's where it's pointing. As soon as I close that face down, it's now pointing way over there. And I would say it's very easy to open the face when you swing the club, but nobody ever puts the club on the ground where it looks as if it's sort of sitting that way on the ground, so the club face is way open that way. Nobody does that because they know that's incorrect how the club is sitting on the ground. But it's easy to do that. Straight away your ball is going to go low and left, okay, unless you adapt something during the swing. So we're just saying to you, the key thing today is to make sure that that club is sitting flat on its bottom. Okay, as I said, you've bought nice golf clubs, so that's really important. Let it sit flat on its bottom, and then our second part, which is the main idea of this video, get that shaft at right angles to where you want to go. Okay, if you do that, we can now make a swing and return it back to that position. You will now hit a straight golf ball. Okay, but what we're going to start to look at, it's getting very windy out here, what we're going to start to look at now, a little bit in the swing, is some key positions which again are right angles to where you want to go, that if you get them right early on in your swing, you're going to hit long straight drives. You're going to have so much fun. But we're going to move the camera to show you that. Only going to move it a little amount, but it'll show you where you need to be as you start to take the club away on your backswing. So here's our next position, and we're going to start looking a little bit more at the swing. But you can see with all the clubs laid down on the ground, we're creating lots of right angles. And I always think the golf swing has a tremendous amount of right angles during it. And if they're correct, you get simple shots. Okay, so we're now going to focus a little bit on the setup, but also the swing away of the club, or you might call it the takeaway, how you're bringing the club back. So again, everything we're doing is as orthodox as we can be. We've aimed the club, we've got the shaft at right angles to where we want to go. Lining up here now, relative to this line, what I've put here is the clubs on the ground are going through the line of my hands, and that's going to be more important for the swing itself. But my toe line here is running parallel to where I want to go. So again, if I look at it from here, I'm creating right angles again. So again, it's simple. And what you're hopefully seeing on the video is, and this is quite an important thing, and I had this again in a lesson yesterday. Guys come in, he's had a few lessons with somewhere else, and I just want to keep everything as orthodox as possible. And he said, well, the most important thing I do is I aim my body at the target. And it was like, burp, burp, big alarm bells for me, because you don't aim your body at the target. Your body should be running parallel to where you want to go. The club goes to the target. This is if you're hitting an orthodox straight shot. I know if you're drawing, fading, that would be different, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about an orthodox straight shot. So what we're looking at here is the sets of clubs that we've got here, which is going to show the swing in a second. They're running parallel to where I want to hit the golf ball. So again, that keeps those right angles going through the swing. That makes it easier to get the result. So let's look at what we've done so far. We've got the club face pointing where we want to go. Massively important. 2, we've got the shaft of the club at right angles to where we want to go. And we've now got the feet running parallel to where we want to go. And here's a key thing in the swing. So when I now take the club away, because those angles are so consistent, I'm looking for my first checkpoint in my swing. And what I look to feel is when I take the club away, I feel as if my forearms take the club away and my body reacts. And what I'd like to see is I reach this waist-high position here. I want to see my shaft of my club going along the parallel position here of my toes, which means if we took a right angle to this, it's right angles to the golf ball. It's right angles to where I want to hit the ball. Okay, so that's getting me into that position. I've created another right angle. The shaft of the club has moved from in front of me, it's moved 90 degrees to that point. Now, I would say if you watch the majority of good golfers, they're finding that position. Okay, that's creating two things. It starts to create a good path of swing, and it creates good balance in the swing. So really important as we're going through that. Okay, so we're keeping this simple. I know you might look at it and go, he's putting lots of things down here, is this making it complicated? We're not. We're keeping it as simple as we can. We're just thinking club to target, shaft right angles, feet parallel. Can I now put the club into this position here, which is parallel? Now what you'll see on the video, if I get it right, it looks as if the head of the club and the handle are so much in line with each other, you can see very little of the shaft. If you're somebody who whips it in here, look how much the shaft is now offline. I've got to make some compensations. I could come back to the ball this way, but look where now the shaft's going. Well, it's going down the 9th hole here at Corinthians. I've now got to flip the club face over to put that right. A lot of golfers won't do that. What they do wrong, if they're in here, is they'll then change their swing to try and find this position, and then generally overdo it, and now you come across the ball. So you end up causing a slice. So even at this point here, and you might think, well, I've got enough information there, that's enough. Club face correct, shaft at right angles, feet parallel, get to there. Okay, now these are all practice swings we're doing. We've got all these clubs and I'm not going to hit a ball. Now let's say we take it a step further. What starts to happen? Guess what? Another right angle. Your wrists start to cock, and if I turn this way to the camera, so we don't have to move the camera again, I create a 90-degree angle there, and that angle, when it comes down, will what we call uncock itself. So it creates the angle, it will uncock itself. That's just basically gravity, centrifugal force, pulling the club back down for you. But we're going to give you an extra little checkpoint here. We've put these clubs on the ground. Okay, there. I've gone to that point there, parallel. We go up to that position there. And again, my hands, as you look at them, are not that much far behind. But if we look at the angle of the shaft here, it starts to point back to the original target line, the first line there. And if you're on that, and you can let that drop down, keeping that right angle in your forearms and wrists, the club will find its way nicely back to the ball. And you'll start to create some consistency as you're coming into the shot. But the main thing I want you to get today is this mental image. Everything we're doing here is to start with that shaft at right angles to where we want to go. More importantly, I want to get back there. Okay, that's the key thing. I want to be back to this position when I strike the ball. Okay, when we hit some balls in a second, we'll take shots from both camera angles so you can see the idea of what we're creating as we go through the shot. So again, a quick recap, and this is something you can set up in your back garden. You can just work on this. We've got 4 clubs. One club going through the ball to the target. This club is running parallel, and you can see it's creating like these 2 right angles. So you know you've done it correctly, and then we've got a 3rd right angle coming in here. Okay, club head square, flat on its bottom. Handle then and the shaft coming directly away. There's our right angle to target. Feet are running parallel, so again my body's now right angles to where I want to go. There's our first swing thought. The forearms swing back, the body reacts. Again, I'm not a believer that you should be turning your body straight away, because look what happens, you get inside. Feel the forearms start the swing, body reacts. There's our right angle. Right angle with the wrists, butt of the club pointing back to the original target line, and then just imagine coming back. And all I'm doing is slow motion swings. I'm not hitting the ball at the moment. I want to get back to that position. So what we'll do with the camera, we'll put it back to the original position. We'll just do some slow motion swings to show you that, and then we'll start to hit a few balls and you'll see that position as I come back. But it's all about this visual image, okay? It's not so much about the visualization of the ball, visualizing what you're doing with your golf swing. So we're back to our original position, and the video is really about this shaft angle being at right angles to where we want to go. That's the key thing. Another thing you can do if you're sort of not able to hit balls, or you think, well, I want to hit a ball because the club head's there, turn the club round. You can do the same thing with your club there to get back to that position. Look where we're ending up. I've got to be there. Everything's in balance. But what it will do more than anything, what I found when people buy into this idea, is they get their setup so much better. But again, what we're looking at now, we're going to just go through that slow motion swing. There's my checkpoint on that angle there that we looked at a minute ago. Is now check that, go up, but more importantly, as I come down, can I return there? And it will always feel as if the handle is winning the race, but when that club head catches up, that's when you're going to get your club head speed. What you don't want to feel is you get to the top, you think, I've got to get back to that ball, and you're there, Look where the shaft angle is now. Where's that ball going to go? It's got to go left. So what have I got to do with that club face to stop it going left? I've got to open it up. What am I going to cause? A slice. Okay? So all I'm going to think of is when I reach here is if I let my arms drop and everything unwinds, look where I end up. I'm getting back to that ball into that position. Okay? I would say the strength of my game, personally, is I hit the golf ball very straight. I may not be the longest, but I keep the ball in play. I can't remember the last time I'm really going and looking in the rubbish for my golf ball. My golf balls, I get rid of them out of my golf bag because I've worn them out, not because I've lost them. And if you're that sort of player, please take this idea on if you want to hit the ball straight. Because if you get that club face right, you get this idea of the right angle right, you will hit more fairways than you've ever hit before. I will guarantee that, because you're doing the two most important things. The shaft will be coming back into the right position, so your path will be correct, and if your club face is correct, the two together, you're just going to get a great result. Okay, but let's hit some balls now. Let's get an idea of what we're doing. We're going to hit some, just move that across there, obviously lose that one. Let's just put that over there behind the camera. And again, I've still kept this sort of little practice station set up nicely. Nobody up the practice ground now. There was somebody out there a minute ago, he's now gone. So there's my thought relative to where I want to go. Everything feels parallel, so there's my right angle to where I want to hit it. From there, club face looks good, my grip's going to maintain that, and you can do like a little Justin Thomas takeaway. He checks his position there every time. Check it. Once you're happy, make your swing. Okay, and I'm glad that guy's gone, because I've hit that straight down the practice ground, exactly where I want to go. So it gets me into that position, it gives me an opportunity to see that shot. And what we're going to do, keep moving the camera around a little bit today, is take some shots from down there, and we'll put some tracer up on the ball so you can see exactly where my golf balls are going. But that ball there, I couldn't hit a straighter ball, but let's hit 3 or 4 more for you so you can see the idea of what we're doing. So let's hit some balls. We're going to focus very much on this position on the camera where we're getting the shaft here. Okay, and I know the shaft then is nicely at right angles to where I want to go, but we'll put the tracer on. You can watch where the balls are going. As I said, if I can continue what I did on the one from the other angle, I'm going to be very happy with the result. So, club face where I want to go, shaft at right angles to where I want to hit it, body's parallel. From there, check it, still running nicely into that position. All clear up ahead. And even that one wasn't right out in the middle of the club, still be down my fairway. Okay, really happy with that. And that's what I find is, because I'm keeping the consistency in the setup, even that swing there, if I'm honest, the tempo got a little bit quick. Maybe again because now I know the tracer's on it and I'm going to hit a shot. I got a little bit anxious, okay? But because the basic technique was there, it was good. Okay, so I'm not changing it. You're going to get, I mean, you guys watch my videos, you know it's about repeating those ideas. So, club face, shaft at right angles, body parallel, shaft still at right angles, parallel there, still at right angles. Let's get a better rhythm. Much better shot, higher, straighter. Really happy with that. Really good. Let's do 2 more. And again, I'm a massive believer, you keep telling yourself over and over again what to do, you'll do it. So let's do my process. Club face at the target, shaft at right angles to where I want to go, feet parallel to where I want to go. Check the position here. Got the routine now, make the swing. That's the best one of the lot, straight down the middle. Really happy with that. Let's do 1 more, finish on another good one like that. But all of these shots so far, I've played 4 so far, they'll all be down my fairway. And if I'm honest, I understand why you guys want to go in the rough. You get your shoes all dirty. Get that ball going down the fairway, you keep your equipment, keep your clubs, keep your shoes, keep your trousers cleaner. It's a lot better. So, club face where I want to go, shaft at right angles, body parallel, check it here, make the swing. And again, another one would be down my fairway. So I would hit 5 out of 5 fairways there. All decent strikes. Second one maybe not the best. but they'd all be a reasonable distance down the hole. All do what I want to do. But if you can get this idea of that right angle with the shaft, imagine what you're doing with the swing. As we did earlier on in the video, lots of practice swings, slow motion swings. Get the idea of bringing the club back to that position. If you've got the club set up like this, straight away the ball should be going right. So you're going to make some adjustments to make the ball go left. If you're standing there with the shaft like this, it should be going left. You're going to make adjustments and now it could go right. So you've got so many variables that can happen. If you stick to my simple process, there are really 4 things there. Aim the club where I want to go. Shaft of the club at right angles to where I want to go. Feet were running parallel, and then when I checked my swing at waist high, again running parallel to the target line. Again, I have that mental picture when I get there that my shaft now is just at right angles to where I started. Everything's in balance. So there's nothing I've got to adjust during the swing. Only thing that's going to put me in trouble a little bit if I do that, as I did on that second shot, I lost the tempo a little bit, but it still went down the fairway. It was still good enough to do what I need to do. Take this to the practice ground and you will see massive improvements. But hopefully those 4 things are very simple. Club face, shaft at right angles, parallel body, shaft parallel again to your body, or right angles to where you started. Do those 4 things, you've set yourself up for a great opportunity to play great golf. Now, we can do the same thing with a hybrid. It's got one more ball hit. I'm going to put it on the ground. Okay, and I don't mentally change a thing. So I go through the same process. Okay, shaft there, it's a little bit short of the club, let's bring it there. Okay, and we'll see where this one flies as well. Sorry about this, this ball's trying to find a hole. Well, we'll play it out of the hole. It will come out if I do it correctly. There. So, club face correct, shaft at right angles, feet parallel. There's my checkpoint. Swing. And again, like the second one I hit with from the first one from this angle, wasn't perfect. Guess where it's gone? Straight. You will hit the golf ball straight every time if you do this. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's mainly working on your driver, but you can take it into your hybrids, your fairway woods. Get that shaft at right angles to where you want to go at setup and at impact, and you'll have a lot of fun. If you have enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you soon.